Hello everyone, Silently here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to build a new iron farm in your worlds. This of course works in the Village and Pillage update which just came out for the Bedrock Edition of Minecraft and has since broken pretty much all previous iron farms and made all previous iron farm tech completely outdated and irrelevant, which is totally nice. So yeah, this iron farm works in the new update and it's pretty small as well. As you can see, it is only 16 by 16, so you can chunk align this if you want to, and the rates are pretty reasonable. It's anywhere from 32 iron ingots per hour up to about 2 stacks of iron per hour. So the rates are a little bit funky. There's a lot missing from this update. There's a lot of bugs in the update, and there's a lot that we don't fully understand about the new update as well. So it's not quite perfect. However, this farm does work and it does produce iron. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this new tutorial and this iron farm as well. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this iron farm, shall we? So as you can see, it's a pretty tiny design. You can chunk align this to your heart's desire or pretty much build this wherever you want in your world. And it probably looks pretty similar to other Bedrock Edition iron farms that you have seen before. The main difference about this new iron farm is we only have room for one spawning platform, and we are simply using beds instead of doors. So we have the main spawning platform up here. This will collect all of your iron golems and all of your kitty cats as well, and push them into lava, kill them, and then all of their drops will be collected into the chest. As you can see, we got a string from the cats, and we got iron and poppies from the golems. So it works pretty well. And then we have beds around the edges. These are located right underneath the spawn platform. That way all of your golems can actually spawn right up here and not have any issues. And then other than that, we just have one small containment unit over here for all of your villagers. In here we have about 10 villagers, so it's a really straightforward design, very, very cheap, and anyone can build this. Because this is a brand new update with brand new mechanics that no one understands fully, I'm quickly going to go over everything that I know about how villages and iron golems work on the Bedrock Edition. The first thing that you need to know, it is completely different from Java. They had to go out of their way to make it completely different. As of 1.11, nothing is really the same. So if you've watched a whole bunch of Java videos on how this stuff works, none of that really carries over to the Bedrock Edition. The second thing that you need to know is that bells and workstations of any kind are completely irrelevant to actually spawning iron golems. The only thing that you need is 10 villagers and 21 beds, which is pretty much a clean transfer from the old system of 10 villagers and 21 doors. So all you need is beds and villagers for yourself to get some iron golems. The next thing that you need to know is that there is no gossip system on the Bedrock Edition, so these guys will never talk to each other to discuss how iron golems work. We're not sure what is in place instead of a gossip system, but there's definitely some weirdness and some artificial slowdown of golem spawning, because the next thing that you need to know is that golems typically spawn a lot slower than they used to. So that is why we get very weird, inconsistent rates of either 32 iron an hour or 2 stacks of iron an hour. It is pretty inconsistent in how much they actually spawn. And also, thank you to DB8035 for doing a bunch of testing all throughout the betas and just trying to figure out as much as he can. That is basically what allowed me to actually build up this farm from all of the research that he did. There'll be a link to his iron farm tutorial down below, and you can learn a little bit more about these mechanics from his video as well. So before we get building, if you want to know exactly what materials you need to build this iron farm, do check the description of the video. There's going to be a full materials list for this build down there for your convenience. And also, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like these kinds of Bedrock Edition tutorials, these kinds of technical things, because I'm going to be releasing a ton of these over the next couple of weeks, and you do not want to miss those. So the footprint of your iron farm is going to be 16 blocks wide by 16 blocks long, and as you can see, I've marked out this area in iron blocks, which is just a good visualization of the space that we need. You can, of course, chunk align your iron farm if you want to, but that is not necessary for this design. And basically what we want to do is go to one of the corners of this build area and just pillar up by 6 blocks. So that should be 6 blocks right there. And then on the 7th block is going to be the actual beginnings of your spawn platform. So we basically want to make a giant 16 by 16 spawn platform. So this is going to be our first block. That's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Let's go over to the other side and do the same thing. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And now we just want to connect these two corners together, and that should give us a big ol' 16 by 16 square. You of course want to build this platform out of solid blocks such as stone or andesite, or basically anything that is a solid block that is not going to catch on fire from your lava. And you also want to go ahead and fill in this entire platform. So now that we have our 16 by 16 platform in place, we want to build up the upper lip around this thing, which will be containing all of our water for our platform. So just come to one of your corners and build up a 2 by 2 of blocks, and then place 3 slabs above it in a little arrow shape, kind of pointing away from your central area. Now to the left of that, you want 5 stairs, 2 lower half slabs, and another 5 stairs, and that should leave you with 2 blocks on the edge. Kind of repeat what we did over there, and we're gonna have that arrow shape pointing away from the central area again, and then go to the left of that one again with another 5 stairs, 2 slabs, 5 stairs again, and yet again you're gonna have your 2 by 2 of blocks, 3 slabs above it, and then we just need to complete that process going all the way around the rest of the farm. As you can see, it is a pretty straightforward and simple. And let's finish it off for this side as well. 5 stairs, 2 lower slabs, and 5 stairs again. So you should end off with a platform that looks like this. So now grab yourself an infinite water source, and you basically want to place a water source on top of that corner block. Waterlog all 5 of those stairs, waterlog those stairs as well, and a water source here as well. And you can probably guess where we're going with this. You need to waterlog every single one of your stairs on this platform and place a water source on that corner as well. Be sure to not waterlog those slabs, otherwise you will flood your central area and that could potentially ruin your lava. But once you have all of your water in place, you should end up with a dry area, a 2 by 2 dry area in the very center of your farm. And this is where we're going to be putting our kill chamber. So now you want to come underneath your iron farm, and we need to build a kill chute going down to our actual item collection. So basically just get yourself some glass, or really whatever block you like that is a full block, and just build this going all the way down to the ground right here. Let's build up that back side, the right side, and the left side as well. And then you just want to go ahead and remove these 6 blocks and place in yourself a double chest for some storage. You can of course expand that into whatever you want. Grab yourself 4 hoppers, crouch and place those going into that chest. And then what I always like to do is throw an item on top of each one of these hoppers. That way I know if something is broken, because I won't get all the items back. But now we basically want to go ahead and remove those blocks real quick. Go ahead and place some lower slabs on top of your hoppers, leave a block gap above that, and then just install 4 signs right here. And then above that, you want to place 1 lava source. Now the thing about this is you should be able to stand underneath that lava source just fine without getting burnt. The only time you'll get burnt is if you jump up into it, so maybe don't do that. Go ahead and finish off the front here with some more full blocks, and that is your kill chamber completely done. Now this kill chamber is a little bit different than normal because we want to collect every single item from all the mobs that we're killing. If we didn't have these slabs in place, then the cats could actually fall down in the hoppers, and sometimes their items wouldn't be collected because bug rock. And then also, if you build this in a ocean biome, all the fish that spawn would actually jump back up into the lava if you didn't have those slabs there. So we build this in such a way that we always collect every single item from all the mobs that this farm kills. And now we need to install our villager pod. So your villager pod can go on any corner of your iron farm. I'm gonna build it on this corner over here. So basically what you wanna do is place a block in these 3 locations right there, just to kind of block off your water. Go ahead and remove those 3 blocks right there, and then come down on your side area, place a piece of glass right here. This is where your villagers' heads are gonna be, and that's gonna make it so that you can actually see your villagers, which comes in handy more often than you might think. So go ahead and place just a ring of blocks around this central hole right here, and now a block down, and then place a torch right there on that block. So the villagers' feet are gonna be right there, and their heads are gonna be at that layer. Go ahead and fill in that block, and that is our villager pod completely done. We'll worry about actually getting the villagers in there in just a minute. Now that the villager pod is in place, we need to install some areas for the beds underneath our spawning platform. So we're basically just going to come over to this side of the villager pod and build up a pretty tiny 2x12 platform for our beds to go on. And this platform should basically be inside the boundaries of the iron farm by a single block. So as you can see, this platform is inside by a block. If we swing around to this side, it's inside by a block as well. And again, this little platform is going to be 12 blocks long. Now that we have that platform in place, we need to build one on the other side as well. So come out from this edge right here by 10 blocks. So that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then build up your other platform. This one is going to be 14 blocks long, and of course 2 blocks wide as well. So we're just going to build this going all the way down. And again, this one is 1 block inside the iron farm. As you can see, it's 1 block in on this side, lined up the other platform, 1 block in on this side over here, and 1 block in on this side over here as well. And now let's go ahead and remove these temporary blocks. So those are both of our bed platforms in place. And now we need to get our villagers into our iron farm, and these need to be fairly specific villagers. They need to be villagers that are not linked to any beds or any workstations in your world, which might be kind of a hassle, but trust me, it's pretty much the only way that your iron farm is going to be working. So if you need a new way to get new villagers in your world, I just made an infinite villager breeder tutorial. Hopefully that helps you out with supplying your iron farm with villagers. So you actually need 10 villagers for this iron farm to work, but you can start off with 2 and just breed your way up, since these guys will be able to breed. For right now, I'm just going to go ahead and chuck 2 villagers in there. Of course, one of them is going to be a baby. I'm going to chuck a 3rd one in there so I can actually breed them. So now that we have a couple of villagers in this hole, we want to go ahead and place down a few beds. We should see some green particles in the ceiling above these beds, and that means that the villagers in here have linked to them properly. You can also see green particles on them as well. If they do not link to these beds, or if they link to other beds in your world, you're going to have issues. Iron golems will not spawn in your farm, so you really got to make sure that these guys are linked to these beds. But now we can actually go ahead and place down the rest of the builds, or the rest of the beds in this farm, and we're just going to go ahead and place down basically all of these. It's going to be 26 in total, and now these guys will be able to breed. So I'm going to go ahead and throw them just several stacks of potatoes, and we'll see them hopefully breed fairly shortly. So less than 5 seconds later, and these guys actually start getting hearts, and that is pretty much perfect. So these guys will breed up as many times as we need to. We should also start seeing cats spawn in the area, and that is pretty much perfect. Something else you should also be doing is trading with your villagers if you can. Every time I've traded with these villagers, I've seen more golems spawn. It might just be placebo, but I'm pretty sure it actually helps out. So consider trading with your villagers. I would suggest maybe doing 10, 15, 20 or so trades. And of course, that is going to lock out most of your villagers. If you want these guys to refresh, you can place down a couple of workstations in the area, but it is not necessary. So I actually missed it, but we actually already got an iron golem, which is pretty cool. I just barely heard it, so nice. This thing is actually fully functional. I'm gonna see if I can catch one of these guys spawn on camera. And there we go. We actually got ourselves an iron golem. Finally, he's fighting a salmon, but nice. This thing is actually working pretty properly. So these guys have quite a bit of health, so they take a little while to die in the lava, but that is perfectly fine. He will die eventually. So once you actually have enough villagers in your spawn pod over here, just go ahead and put a block back above them, and then go ahead and cover them back up with some water as well, and they will be perfectly fine and perfectly safe down there. As you can see, these guys breed way too much. Now, something you may also want to consider doing is installing a little bit of a lightning shield. This technically should not be necessary in this update. However, I have had my villagers in my iron farms get killed by lightning before, so just go up by a few blocks above the actual spawn pod and make like a 5x5 of glass or slabs or whatever you want, and that should prevent all lightning from ever hitting your villagers. Again, it should not be necessary, but it's a good precaution to take. So just to wrap this up a little bit, there are a few things that I want to cover with how you can actually build this farm. You should be able to build this underground just fine, but you will have to be aware of iron golems actually spawning in caves around the farm. So if you build this underground, beware that you might occasionally have golems walking around in your caves. Is this farm stackable? No, it is not. It is really difficult to build 2 of these farms in the same ticking area. I've tried this pretty extensively in this little testing area right here. As you can see, I built up that farm over there. That was fully functional. I tried building another farm next to it, and all of the golems from both of these 2 farms spawned in that little area right there. So pretty much directly in between the 2 farms, which isn't that great. I tried disabling that farm, leaving this one and this one active, and no golems spawned at all, which is very curious. I would think that the golems from these 2 farms would spawn in the middle area. That would at least be consistent, but nothing spawned when I had 2 farms active in that area. I haven't tried it with 4 active farms. That's really annoying with the bad linking, but yeah, basically you can't build 2 of these same farms in the same ticking area. I'm not sure how far apart you need to build these farms from each other for them to be totally functional, so hopefully we will figure that out over the next couple of weeks. So this is kind of like my first version of an iron farm on the Bedrock edition of Minecraft, so hopefully over the next couple of weeks we will figure out a lot more about these mechanics, and again, all of these mechanics could change in the next major update, so keep your eyes on the channel for a new iron farm eventually, because this one certainly needs a few improvements. But that is going to do it for this tutorial, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope that you did enjoy and get some use out of this farm. If you did enjoy this tutorial, be sure to share it around with your friends so that they can get some use out of this farm in their worlds as well and get some of that sweet iron. Also, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future tutorials like that future iron farm that I'm kind of teasing, and maybe leave a like on the video as well. Helps out the video and the channel greatly. Thank you all very much for doing so. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then of course let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for the support. As always, I do greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you all down in that comment section and in the next one. And then there was silence.